Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Westchester Talk Radio, produced by Shark Creative and made possible by Entergy, Indian Point Energy Center, Lapolis Electric, White Plains Hospital, High Tower Westchester, and Park Sterling Realty. Here we are today with Isolation Therapy, Episode 4, with Walter Recher. Today, Walter is a management consultant with small ball marketing, specializes in working with entrepreneurs and aspiring professionals to develop innovative business and communication strategies. He also works with HRG of White Plains, one of the leading event management companies in the New York metro area. Some wonderful people over there. Also does a lot of work with nonprofit Westchester and area nonprofits on communication strategies to help them grow. And especially right now in a time of crisis, they need you, Walter, more than ever. Walter, look, we've known each other a long time, especially in the nonprofit sector. We've worked together on certain events, and we see each other every so often. And we've always had some really dynamic conversations. I'm really happy to have you on today on Westchester Talk Radio. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today? I know you're certainly fond of being a teacher, and you're helping others with lots of the skill sets that you've learned over the years. Tell us a little bit about your past and how you got to where you are today.
Sure, and good morning, Andrew. Happy to be here, and it's been quite a ride. And I wanted to just start by saying that it's very inspiring to see all the innovation and good people coming forward in a time of crisis like this.
Yeah.
And it's just again, it's about positivity, engagement, a lot of the things that good entrepreneurs do. So I grew up in a family business in Armonk. We had a family food business, and I learned firsthand from 3 feet away about how to serve a customer and how to be in tune with what you need to provide from the ground up in a grassroots business. So I've been fortunate enough from there to work with a lot of really dynamic growth businesses. You really could make an argument some of the major growth industries through starting in the 90s when I was with Cablevision in the early days. I was going door-to-door sales, knocking on people's doors.
I know that business well.
Who were wondering, what's this guy doing here trying to sell me, over-the-air TV? And then, of course, that changed quite a bit. I moved up into management from there, and I heard about the next big wave was going to be in telecommunications, which, I was with MCI. And again, I worked there actually with one of the godfathers or fathers of the internet, Vint Cerf. And, MCI was at the forerunner of this big movement from there. And I helped launch a telecommuting strategy for MCI, partnering with Intel and Microsoft. And we went around the country developing conferences to help people work from home. And here we are, fast forward 25 years later, and it's quickly becoming the norm. So that was very exciting. I left MCI and then started a new company, OnRamp Associates. And that business was all about highlighting the benefits and the challenges and solutions to work from home. So we worked across the country. We did a conference that was covered by NBC Nightly News and Wall Street Journal and the CBS News. And again, that was an exciting time, and I was in at the ground floor of it. From there, I've started a couple other companies. One with InTouch Media, we partner with the National Center for Missing Children. And we developed a new patented technology to help provide public interaction for people with missing kids. Fascinating time, very rewarding work. And that really spurred me to get more into cause marketing and also into education. So since that time, and for the past, I guess, going on 20 years since I graduated from Fordham, I've been teaching online. I have a class that I just switched over at Manhattanville from a traditional format to a virtual on the Zoom platform. And it's really fascinating to see the ideas bubble up and develop. In fact, they're working right now on a virtual bar where they would bring in and plug in everything from trivia contests to Uber Eats. And amazingly, staying on top of the business, I saw something in Inc. magazine this morning, how there's a woman in England that just started a virtual bar. She's got 15,000 patrons already. And it's just fascinating to see how
it really is. I mean, that's really what we're here to talk about today, right? Is in a time of crisis, what how does innovation integrate with all of that? So tell us, a little bit about what we should be paying attention to. What are you seeing today? You just gave one example, but what are some other examples that you're seeing as a result of people working from home and the fact that things are going to be much more virtual? Give us a little insight on that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I do, as you mentioned earlier, I do a lot of work with Hospitality Resource Group, and I mean, they're an event company, and as you might expect, that world's been completely turned upside down.
Sure.
But
let's hope we get back to it soon enough. I don't want it to be all doom and gloom that we're never going to see people again, that we're not going to be in a room. We know that that's coming, but it certainly it's trying times right now for that kind of business, and people are trying to pivot and find other ways to reach out to their clients and customers and supporters.
And again, this is going to be a great platform. They're developing a virtual event platform that will be a great solution, not just for today, but later as a complement to when we get back together. And they're working with a new, really exciting sponsor platform. And the key to that, and I think what's really important, this is a good news story, is that those kinds of solutions are going to help keep afloat a lot of nonprofit organizations who are otherwise struggling. I mean, some of them depend on events upwards of 50 to 60% of their funding. So just, turning away from that. And these are people out there, we're doing work with the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Addiction. And, their work right now is more important than ever. So they need to have visibility, continue to fundraise, and make sure people know that they're supported and engaged. So excited about that. I think there's some really good work we can do together.
Yeah, that is exciting. And, tell us, what other things are you seeing that are out there?
Well, another one that I'm hearing a lot about is that people are pivoting, and collaboration is really becoming interesting. So you have food companies starting to come together to develop a lot more of a resource for people that are otherwise confined to their homes. So they're Uber Eats delivery partnerships, and people coming up with collaborating on recipes. Ironically, engagement is actually up. I mean, I just saw something this morning, Zoom, by the way, which we're conducting an interview on, in March, is up 535%. I mean, it's just off the charts, and that's just one example. So I think, you're seeing.
I'm up about 400,000% in the amount of time that I've spent in the last 2 weeks with it, because truthfully, before 2 weeks ago, I hardly ever used it. Now I find myself all day long, whether it's through an interview or just having a conversation with people. And I've talked about this already on a few other episodes. People are getting more and more creative with it. In fact, today, a little later today, I have a sort of a weekly 3 o'clock call with my son's second grade class. And that's turned out to be the highlight of the week for a lot of the kids there. I keep getting emails saying, are we still doing the call at 3 o'clock on Friday? And every week we try to find another little highlight for the kids to do, because otherwise it's just, it's free time and it's crazy. But if you come up with a little organized plan, it's really effective. And that I would have never dreamed that I would be doing that at 3 o'clock on a Friday, but it's just one other sort of creative solution that's come out of this. In this case, to just help my son and his classmates stay in touch. But it's different, it's fun, and they seem to really enjoy it.
I'll give you one other follow-up example to that. I just got an email this morning. My son's 18, He's my in-house IT. I have, he's going to school to be a computer engineer next year. And so he's upstairs, and he's able to come down in case I have any glitches. But I got an email from his teachers today in the music department. And the music department, all 18 members came together and did a piece of music that highlighted each of them in Windows.
That's great. As
a virtual orchestra.
Awesome.
So again, yeah, they've seen amazing collaboration going on. It's very exciting time.
Yeah, yeah. Walter, what are the keys to being successful in evolving and growing a business or organization? What are the challenges that we're all facing in the new world right now?
Good question. Again, I've been through a fair amount of these changes, starting back in the 1987 stock crash, and obviously 9/11. And without a doubt, there are always going to be a pause button, and then quickly it opens back up in the floodgates because of the great innovative people that are out there. So, I think that the key is attitude, and really have a lifelong learning attitude. If you've got that and you start every day like I do, and you do, and many, that the world's full of possibilities. It's not about what we can't do. It's what you can, and over time you develop an attitude about that. That's why you see serial entrepreneurs. Elon Musk is a extreme example, but talk about a guy that can pivot. He's launching rockets. He's building green farms, extensive batteries, and he just pitched in. He's helping Buffalo University develop ventilators on the fly overnight. I just saw this morning there's a startup in New Jersey that's come up with the first pandemic solution as far as a vaccine, and that's a startup in New Jersey. So again, these people are always, and I teach this in my class a lot.
It is amazing. And you don't have to
attitude.
You don't have to be at that extreme to be an innovator or to be creative. That's you can start small and still affect change. You had shared with me, I guess, a number of traits that people have in common that are like this, and you have sort of a top 5 list. I'd love for you to just dive into that. I found that to be pretty fascinating. Just give us a little heads up on that as we wrap up the call.
Yeah, of course. I think that it starts with, number one, embrace change. I've worked at a lot of organizations. Everything I've done in my career has always involved dramatic change in behavior and the way you interact, all those things, from telecommunications to touchscreens and everything else. So if you have an attitude to embrace change and you see this coming, immediately, and I always talk to my son about this, if you have your head down, you can't see what's ahead of you. It's as simple as that. So embrace change is a really big one. And look what you're doing now with the show. You're coming on now, interviewing people like me, and doing that as a series of interviews that you can then share on LinkedIn to help you grow your business and them to grow theirs. So a lot of it's attitude. And, if you didn't have your head up.
A little fun with it and put a shark behind me if I want to do that, right?
On the fly, I'll move your head a little to the left. I want to see you lose it. Second one is grow and enhance your relationships. I did a LinkedIn seminar about a month and a half ago before all this happened. And I'm actually looking to pivot upon that and do an online relationship and networking seminar in this age. Look what's happening. So yesterday I'm watching Shark Tank, and I see a guy come on. He's kind of a new host. They go through his bio. He's a Fordham graduate on Shark Tank. I reached out on LinkedIn and made a connection. So I have a new relationship, and here I am, working from home, but I connected the dots. And if he didn't see that I had relationships, set up already, and I wasn't having that embrace change attitude, I never would have connected with him.
Right.
Now he's somebody I can go to further develop some ideas, and develop some business plans and things like that. So it's great.
You know,
So
I always come back to this, like, how do you get things done? You get things done by showing up, right? Just show up. Whether it's showing up in the form of reaching out, making a phone call. Remember that you made a phone call, or you know, going to, you know, to an event or meeting with somebody. That's how you grow relationships, and that's at the forefront of you know, almost everything. I mean, I've always relied on relationship building for any kind of business that I've done over time. And the most successful people that I know have wonderful relationships with people.
And I would add to that, and this is a good segue into the third one, is that the relationships need to be genuine. You get a lot of, like, going back to LinkedIn for a second, you know, you get, I'm sure we all get them.
Oh yeah.
I got one the other day from someone from China, you know, look, hey, I saw your LinkedIn thing. There's no particular reason to be connected, so you don't take the invitation, but there are meaningful relationships. And that goes into the third piece, which is, you know, be a good partner. And again, that's attitude and strategy. When you want to evolve a relationship, the first thing you do is you offer the other person some kind of offer to help. You reach out, you think about, and you listen aggressively to what's going on in their world, and you come up with solutions. I got a friend who just recently got laid off from a placement agency. So I'm working with her on how she can evolve and rebrand and engage. You know, she works in healthcare. So of course there's opportunity there. So, you know, you do that and it comes back around. And that's, you know, I think that's served me well over the years, those relationships, and being a good partner becomes a way to build better business.
Yeah. And certainly you've been a great partner to the people you work with and for over the years. I know that. That's right. What are the last two?
Yeah. So fourth one is step outside your comfort zone. I have a great environment for that here in my home. Yeah, you can. You got the shark looking over you. That's right. Step outside. Do something you haven't done. You know, get in front of people you've never met. You know, take that path less traveled and have an experience that you otherwise would never have had. Go back and rekindle a relationship with someone who maybe you had a fallout with. I did that 2 years ago, and it's been great. It's been like a spiritual uplift, and also, you know, it's good business. So that's another one. You know, just step out the comfort zone. And then last, and I think this one is most important, you know, be a lifelong student. You know, it's kind of interesting to see really smart people always growing. And I always, you know, I forget where I picked this up, but some really wise person always said, you know, don't be the smartest guy in the room, because then you're not going to learn. You don't even think that way. Be the person that's there to learn, and you're going to pick up on it, you're going to grow, and you're going to evolve. We were talking earlier about, you know, Gretzky's comment about, you know, skate to where the puck is going, not where it's been. You don't have to be a hockey fan to know that, you know, life can be a chess game. And, you know, if you're a student, you're going to see where things are heading. You're going to put yourself there, and you're going to, you know, you're going to have a, you know, a successful career, and you'll grow even in an environment like this.
No doubt about it. Build relationships, be open-minded, get outside the comfort zone, try to forecast a little bit. Love the quote, the Gretzky quote. Walter, look, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you this morning. You have a lot to offer. Thank you for building your relationship with me personally. And I know we'll be continuing our collaboration, and I look forward to building wonderful things with you. For those folks who are listening, this is Westchester Talk Radio, produced by Shark Creative and made possible by our wonderful sponsors, Entergy, Indian Point Energy Center, Lapolis Electric, White Plains Hospital, Hightower, Westchester, and Park Sterling Realty, which incidentally, our sponsors also have their own podcasts that we've helped produce for them. You can find all of their podcasts on westchestertalkradio.com under the podcast page. And if you're interested in doing a podcast, reach out to us and let us know. Until next time, this has been Isolation Therapy, episode number 4 with Walter Recher. Take care. We'll be back soon.